Hello again, and today I'm going to be previewing Juan Manuel Marquez, Manny Pacquiao 4. In the last three fights, it's been pretty much impossible to separate them. It's two victories for Manny Pacquiao and one draw. And now just go back if you don't know about the fights. The first fight, contested at featherweight, Marquez knocked down 3 times in the first round, and by then everybody thought it looked as though Manny Pacquiao was just starting at that point, just started with Freddie Roach, was just starting to become the superstar he is now. He was really the start of it. And it looked as though he was going to knock out his wiser Mexican counter-punching opponent. But Marquez next round come back into it, got stronger as the fight went on, and seemed really like he was taking over in the fight. Pacquiao still with the speed and the power advantage. At the end of the fight, it was scored a draw that first fight, despite the 3 knockdowns, and despite one judge who scored the fight in, I think it was a draw, he scored it, had the first round a 10-7 round. Now, if you don't understand the rules, obviously if you get knocked down once, it becomes a 10-8 round. If you get knocked down twice, 10-7 round. So if you get knocked down 3 times, it should be a 10-6 round. But he only scored a 10-7, which ultimately meant it was a draw. So it was a close fight. I mean, I've watched it once myself, and personal opinion, I felt that Pacquiao just won it due to those knockdowns. Probably won on one of those knockdowns by a point, I'd say. So it was a very close fight. The next fight took a while to happen. I mean, 2010, the second fight happened. It might have been before that actually, but anyway. It was another close fight. 4th round, I do believe, Marquez got knocked down. Another left hook from Manny Pacquiao floored him, but it was a good fight from Marquez. He looked a lot better. Wasn't stupid early on to get caught. Much more boxing, but it just become another scrap by then. Both of them badly cut. Marquez counter punching and the right hands getting through every time on Manny Pacquiao. And Pacquiao just speed in and out, the kind of thing you saw that we don't see from Manny anymore, that jumping in and out, that super fast foot speed mainly that we don't see anymore. Still got the hand speed, but the foot speed is definitely slowed up a bit. And Marquez, in my opinion, and a lot of opinions, won that fight. I think most people believe that Pacquiao won the first fight, which I shared that opinion. The second fight, I believed Marquez was just nicked it. Maybe it could have been a draw with a knockdown, but I think I just had Marquez winning by 1 round. Probably again, though, it was a really close fight. Almost impossible to separate them. But I felt that just about swung in his favour. Maybe I think it could have been 113 now at the same time, because if you'd have scored 7 rounds to 5. Well, I think I scored it with 7 rounds to 5 to Marquez, but with a knockdown it scored it 113. I had it Marquez. And then the third fight, which was only last year, and Pacquiao since that second fight has gone on a massive run. The Pacquiao movement from weights, beating Oscar De La Hoya, knocking out Ricky Hatton, stopping Miguel Cotto, taking apart decent fighters like Margarito and Clottey, and it was just a Pacquiao that was in his prime going to that fight. Marquez hadn't shown much, was dominated by Mayweather, been in a few more scraps since then, mostly with Juan Diaz twice sharing the ring with him in 2 memorable fights. And so it was expected that Manny Pacquiao would put this, demon behind him, this blip behind him that he just can't get out of the way. But much like the first 2 fights, it was nip and tuck all the way. This time, no knockdowns. Marquez was a lot stronger in the fight. The weight looked much bigger compared to what he had done in the past, and just really took the fight to Pacquiao, mostly landing in the right hands. Pacquiao was almost a kind of start of a decline for him. He was off key a lot of the fight. never really going in the fight with his speed, especially feet. And I think Marquez was very, very unlucky not to win the fight. I thought he won it by about 4 rounds, 116, 112. I think I'd have had it. And the judges in the end gave it to Manny Pacquiao. So that was probably the one fight that looked as though it was certainly for one fight. The other fight, 2 fights, could have gone either way. That fight was the only one. The third was the only one where it looked decisive, and in the end it did go to the wrong man. So that's why ultimately these 4 fights had to happen. Peter said they don't want a 4th fight. It's just never. It's always going to be the same, and that's probably the truth. You could probably fight 100 times, and it would probably split between people 50-50 every time on who won, or if it was a draw, because they're that kind of fighters. The styles are always going to mix into a close fight, and I think that's going to be the case again. But looking at it now, the judges obviously conscious of what's happened in the last few fights. It was very conscious in the Tim Bradley Manny Pacquiao fight. Pacquiao clearly, through my eyes, through everybody's eyes that was watching, except for the 3 judges, won the fight. Yet it was given to Timothy Bradley, ending Pacquiao's amazing run of victories. And now, obviously, he wants to get back to that winning form. This is his old rival. Can he put the demons to bed? Obviously, both fighters want a knockout. It's going to be decisive. Because personally, it's just going to be a close fight. Whoever wins, there's going to be arguments either way. So maybe that will play in there's 2 ways this could go, because it could play in the judges' mind either way. Whether the judges are thinking, well, Marquez has been robbed 3 times, in some people's opinion, so close rounds will get to Marquez. Or they could think Pacquiao was robbed in his last fight, so close rounds will give to Pacquiao. So either way, the judges are in a bit of a thing, but predicament really. Tough one for the judges, but at the end of the day, they shouldn't be thinking that. They shouldn't be thinking, oh, I've got to get a close rounds to Pacquiao, I've got to get a close round to Marquez. You got to just think who you think they won the round. So close rounds should go to the one who's you feel has landed the better punches. You think's landed a punch that's made, the crowd stand up, made you think, well, that's a good punch. That's when you think that person's won the round. So they're hard to score, but you just got to score on what you feel, not on previous accounts, not thinking, oh, I've got to give that round to that fighter because last time we gave it to the other fighter. So, but I think maybe with that in mind, unfortunately it does get in the judges' mind that they've got to score the close rounds to one guy. And I think that will count a lot here because it's going to be a close fight. I think for Marquez to win again, he's just got to reenact what he did last year in the 3rd fight. Only in the 12th and final round, don't switch off. Because I think that was what ultimately could have cost him the fight. So whatever he does, don't switch off at all in the fight. Kind of slow the tempo down like he did in the last fight. For the first 6 rounds, it's a very slow fight, which is why he was winning it. Keep out of range of Pacquiao. Pacquiao hasn't got the foot speed he once had, which means as long as he's out of range, the old days of Pacquiao with a foot speed, even if you were out of range, you weren't really out of range because you just take one quick step and suddenly he's in range to land these quick punches before you were able to defend yourself. So Marcus doesn't have to worry about that again. He's got to stay on the outside. Wait for Pacquiao to come in. He's going to be slower at coming in and counter right hands. Right hands are the perfect shot here. Pacquiao is vulnerable to him. He has been throughout his career, and he was especially shown in the 3rd fight. And every single fight between Marquez and Pacquiao, he's been able to land that right hand. Same goes for Pacquiao. That left hand's the key punch. The two first fights, he knocked him down 4 times in the first 2 fights, so we've got to look at that. It was especially the left hand which was the most dangerous shot. He's definitely got to work on the footwork again this time. He's got to be on the ball of his feet all the time to be able to move in and out as quick as he possibly can to cause the damage. Keep Marquez guessing, keep Marquez defensive. He's a counter puncher, so if he's a counter puncher, if you throw slower shots, less shots, just one punches or 1-2s like he did in the first fight, it's easy to counter. You're throwing 4 or 5 punches, it's a hell of a lot harder to counter, and that's what Pacquiao has to do in this fight. So I think it's going to be, again, both fighters are going to have the rounds. It's going to be hard to split. Both fighters are going to dominate rounds. Both fighters, the rounds where they're so close, you've just, whichever you felt won the round. Whoever you felt, whether you like the aggression, whether you like the counter punching, the sharper punches, whether you like the person who throws more punches, it's all down to personal preference. But so I think of Marquez this time, barring any judges, bad decisions, controversial decision, I think Marquez is just that determination to finally defeat Pacquiao. The counter punching he has, the way the Pacquiao slowing down, which means Pacquiao can't score knockdowns that he once could. I think that will all come into play for Marquez to be the winner on a close, very close, maybe split decision. It will be contested. Both fighters will feel they've won it, and it'll be another nail-biting finish at the end to see who's won the fight. But I think, barring any controversial decision, that Marquez will rightly be the winner, and in what may be the fight that everybody remembers between these two. So that's my prediction, and for your predictions, please leave comments at the bottom on who you think's going to win. And then for the undercard, Miguel Vazquez against Jester, another Filipino. Both fighters have not got the best defense, and it should turn out that way to be an entertaining fight. Maybe knockdowns in the fight. It'll be a great undercard fight, but I'm going to go with Vazquez. Although I don't like his style too much, I think he's very quick, especially moving on his feet, and I think he can win with a late stoppage. And then Yuriorkis Gamboa, again with his first fight under new promoter 50 Cent, should be able to win his fight comfortably, probably stop him. I think it's 3-0, is it? Another Filipino anyway, and I think he should be able to stop him in about 8 rounds. So thank you for listening, and I say please leave your comments at the bottom on who you think will win tonight's fight. Thank you very much.